This is Chicken Philosophy. Carl Jung's Black Books, Part 63. 63 is, of course, 7 times 9. And the path between 7 and 9, Netzach and Yesod, is, of course, the star card, which is Aquarius, right? So let's hear the Aquarian doxology.
I affirm my oneness with all that is, life eternal, sublime and triumphant. I am that life, now and forever.
All right, thank you, builders of the Addendum. I don't know. This is the last episode of Chicken Philosophy before the Christmas holidays. It's going to be a week or so. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? I was going to open with this. So this is Magali, and her channel is, what's your channel called?
It's just my name. It's Magali.
Yeah. So subscribe to her channel. You click there. Okay. So yeah, that's our friend. Been corresponding on the internet for a year or so, but our first time hanging out. So do please feel free to click subscribe on her channel. She's a local YouTube celebrity here in Goa, you might say. Yeah. Social experiment. Experimenting with being social. Those are two different things. They don't really fit. Social experiment is when you... I guess like the guy that put the contact lens... No, that was on his daughter. Like when people experiment on themselves. Never mind. So today I neglected to bring any incense over here. What is this? Oh, this is that peace incense. Okay, we're going with peace incense. There was an episode, you remember? Oh, yeah. That was the one where, with the smoking weed to get over whatever he was trying to get over. I don't remember. Somebody. Do you remember? I don't remember. It's too long ago. That was like maybe almost a week ago at this point. Yeah, so we're going up north like we do. We're lazy with our vacations, so we just go to North Goa. I'll post a short tomorrow or the next day to kind of show where we are, where we're going to be chilling for the holidays. Anyway, so Merry Christmas to those who celebrate, and to those who don't, Merry Christmas. No, yeah. Happy whatever. Or no, or none of the above. If you're Jehovah's Witness, no happiness. Sorry, no happiness for you. No birthdays, no Christmas. So what are we doing here? Oh, right. Okay, so I lit some incense. Sometimes like if I do something once and then I'm like, oh, I'll do that thing again that I did. And then once I've done it 50 times, then it's like compulsion. So before I start reading, I light incense and I drink something. But the only thing I have is the incense that happened to be laying here and this drink that happened to be laying here. I mean, not laying, more like standing. Oasis. I would say good band, but I don't want to be dishonest with you. Okay, so yeah, well, by coincidence, I happen to have this nearby. See, I just woke up, had coffee, kind of, like I'm thinking I need to wrap Christmas presents today. And so I wanted to get this done with, this recording, because I did want to record before the long holiday, because I want to acknowledge that I'm not going to be here for a week. I don't want to just suddenly disappear. Why? I don't know. The other thing I want to mention is I have a lot of YouTube channels. I don't know if you knew this. Did you know this? If you scroll down to the bottom of the description, you'll see BT's main channel, because he has a secondary channel. You see Gwydion's main channel, because I have a secondary channel. You see Edward's main channel, because, I mean, depending on how you divide and differentiate things, Edward has 15 channels. And then Pymander's main channel, because there's actually a channel called Pymander Aquarium, but that's not the one that I'm counting as Pymander's main channel down there. One of the channels that we, the four of us, I guess mostly Edward, has is called Goin', Goin', Gone. Because, you see, we live in Goa, and people who are people who are from Goa are going. We're not from Goa, we're from outside, as they say here, but we're going. You know how sometimes, like, your waspy, like, neighbor's daughter will go become a yoga teacher and she'll call herself a yogi or a yogini? And then if you talk to somebody who's more, like, aware of things, they'll be like, no, the people who live on the mountain in the Himalayas and are wearing the big cloth diaper and long beard and very thin, those are yogis. You are drinking a latte right now. It's not the same. No, but so there ends up being more than one definition, like when George W. was like, something about the nuclear option, and the whole world, the literate world, was like, nuclear! It's spelled nuclear. It's about a nucleus. Nuclear is how idiots pronounce it, because they don't know how to fucking read, apparently. And then, like, right after that, the new version of the dictionary came out, and it was like, well, there's two different options for pronouncing this word. No, there isn't. What was I talking about? All right, so where were we? Am I done? Is this the intro? Is that the intro? I guess so. Oh, yeah, no, I was going to tell you. So, going. So we moved to Goa. We're going, gone, because we left Delhi. We left New Delhi. We're gone from New Delhi. I'm also gone from America. So we're just like, we disappeared. But ironically, we're still here on your screen. But yeah, Going, Gone's the name of the channel. And of course, as with many things, chicken philosophy is a unique thing. But quite often, like for example, when I created Indian Hollywoods, I made the first video, and I was like, these are going to be weekly. And a month and a half later, I made the second video, and that was 6 months ago. We'll see if that one actually gets going at any point. The reaction, but it turned out to be a lot of work, but we'll see. I do all my own editing, so it's kind of a drag to have to edit something for 2 days and then like 5 people watch it. So it's like, what's the point? What else? Was there anything else? This is going to be one of those, like, when you've heard me talk about it before. Let's bring up just for shits and giggles, I'm going to make Editor Edward do some work today. So here we have the tiers S, A, B, C, D, right? And a couple episodes ago, there was that 200, episode 200. I'm going to go ahead and put that up in S tier. A tier. I'll be a little bit, make room for the truly great. It was flashy. The music was good. And A tier, and then the Martin Luther episode, was that no Meccan Revelation that came out afterward. You know, you may not know this, but it's also A tier. So today I'm aiming for D tier, but I'll probably miss and hit C or B tier. So yeah, because what happens when an episode is like, oh, that was good, part of me is like, well, we got to make the next one good, and so I preemptively, like, no. Did you ever see that movie? I don't know the name of it. It was this black and white movie. I could probably do some quick Googling and find out. But this guy had like figured out the code for the roulette table or whatever, or gambling itself. He had figured out the formula. And so then he was like, went out and he won, and he went out and he won. And then he's like, today I'm going to lose. And it's like, what? Why? And he's like, because the formula says I'm going to lose today. Why? And then he came back, yeah, I lost. And then, why are you happy? And he was because the formula was correct. So that's kind of where I'm at, what I have in mind in making this episode. Like, yeah, this one, I just woke up. This one isn't going to be so good. But no, maybe it will be good. I don't know. Here we go. Now I'm going to start reading the Carl Jung. Can you believe I have to read this atrocious handwriting? No, I don't, because at the very end, the last few pages is the typed up version. So we're going to read that instead. Editor Edward, would you change the music? This is, March. How much did we skip? February 28th. Was 1914 a leap year? I'm assuming not. I think that there's a 75% chance that it was not a leap year, so we'll assume it wasn't. So 9 days. Sometimes he journals every day, but he's slacking a bit. All right, March 9th, 1914. I'm somewhat burnt out, it seems. Samesies, just in general on life. Less burnt out now than I was 7 years ago. But I identify as burnt out, so leave me alone. No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, my head was particularly dull today. Okay. Does this mean that I should come back to you, my book? Apparently. My soul, speak and let me hear of what is going on in the depths. Proclaim the tidings of things to come. I feel as if a chaos were hidden deep inside me. Quote, that's it. Quote, that's it. Chaos is the right word. End quote. I feel as if something crossed out, need some relief. Can't you bring up something that releases the inner tension? Zalabay? No, we'll see. I know I haven't yet carried out my work, but you know all the difficulties. Quote, be at work unflaggingly. End quote. That's his soul talking. I think I am already. Once more your admonition strikes a schoolmasterly tone. Please don't talk in platitudes, but grasp for something deeper. I am in earnest. Quote, so listen, there is nothing more stupid under the sun than ravens. End quote. That's intriguing, but I'm gonna stop you right there, Carl. Reminds me, rather, one time a friend of mine told me he was driving, and he was smoking a cigarette, and this sort of voice, not an audible voice, but a very strong, like, thought, like, came and was like, why are you smoking that? And he was like, oh, I don't know. It was like, throw it out. And he threw it. And then he was like, And he was thinking, like, is this the voice of God? Or is this the voice of my higher self? And then it said something else. I forget what it said, but it said something that was like a little fishy, or it was like, turn left at the next light, or, something like that. And then he was like, who is this? And then it stopped. I think that's the best way to deal with that type of thing, to avoid becoming, like, truly OCD. People say, oh yeah, I'm OCD. No, you're not. Read People of the Lie. The guy in the first chapter was OCD. All right, where were we? Yes. Nothing more stupid under the sun than ravens. Why? By God, you're astonishing. Quote, don't be surprised. The raven is the animal you recently told me about. What did he say when you were hanging on the tree? End quote. I really don't know anymore. I can only remember that it was something rather doctrinaire and rational. Quote, look it up. End quote. I've got it. He spoke about my concept of love. As I understood in hindsight, he was not entirely wrong, or rather, he was completely right. Quote, and yet he is dull. End quote. Why? I don't understand that. Quote, it is stupid to talk about a concept of love. End quote within quotes. One has no concept of love. End quote. That is completely and utterly your style, but please express yourself more clearly. Quote, you have truly grown. You are positively rude with me. Something crossed out. However, you very well know that you strike at yourself. So listen. The desire to understand love is already plainly awkward and the source of many evils. One does not understand love. It is not to be understood. One simply has it or not. End quote. I don't know if I finished my thought earlier. On the channel called Go and Gone, I've been making, at first I was making like a video every day or, every couple days, and then they've slowed down. And they've slowed down to the point where people are actually like, oh yeah, that channel died, didn't it? You totally stopped. But that's not entirely true. I put out a video called 7 Months in Goa about 4 or 5 months ago. And so just recently I put out a video called Autumn in Goa that starts very clearly with Ganesh Chapati. No, Hindi speakers are laughing at me. Chapati is something you eat. Chapati? Ganesh Chapati? Anyway, there's a holiday, a Ganesh holiday, and it's just shortly before autumnal equinox, which happens to be my birthday. So the video starts out with the Ganesh Chaturthi, and then my birthday, and it goes all the way up until the day before yesterday. It's 18 minutes and some number of seconds, and it's good. It's good. And if you're a fan of George Winston, you might be thinking, George Winston, like that album December? It's kind of depressing, though. But you know what's less depressing by incrementally slightly less depressing, I find, is Autumn. And I wouldn't say it's depressing. I feel like, let's bring up the spectrum. Oh, I brought up the spectrum. It's a callback. It's a callback. To what? Well, if you're only watching Chicken Philosophy, then you won't know. You have to scroll all the way down, and where it says Gwydion's main channel, click that. Then you'll know. Anyway. Yeah, so this is a false dichotomy, or it can be. It often is, sometimes. On the spectrum between real dichotomies and false dichotomies, it's somewhere off the spectrum. So, yeah, okay. So, let's say that this is happy, and this is depressing. And you want to be like, where's George Winston? George Winston is in profound, transcendent, otherworldly, contemplative, dreamlike childhood memories, for me anyway. Like 3 years old, 2 years old, kind of like tripping out on the wall, looking at my toys and thinking, why is that there? But not in like a, oh, why is that there? But like a genuine like interest, curiosity, like why darts with suction cups on them? Like, it's not depressing. It's good. And it ties the whole video together. Now, anyway, I'm not going to point to the corner. It's going to be the end screen. And you're not going to see me again for a week. So you might as well click the end screen today. I know you don't click the end screen. But today, do yourself a favor. Click the end screen. It won't, you won't be disappointed. Unless you are. I don't know. You might be. All right. So that's what's going to happen later. What? Yes, love, simply, so listen more clearly. You have truly grown. So you think of love as something entirely irrational? Quote, if you absolutely want to put it philosophically. What? You are positively rude with me, however, you very well know that you strike at yourself. So listen, the desire to understand love is already plainly awkward and the source of many evils. One does not understand love. It is not to be understood. One simply has it or not. End quote. So you think of love as something entirely irrational? Quote, if you absolutely want to put it philosophically, you may call it so. The attempt to understand love at all is thus simply bad. And quote, bring back the spectrum. So here you have rational, here you have irrational. Where is love? Somewhere fucking else, not on the spectrum. It can behave in ways that sometimes cross over at different points with different parts of the spectrum. Oh, that was rational. Oh, that was irrational. If you're thinking from the standpoint, from an evolutionary standpoint, I would say that it's rational. Because it would be irrational to go extinct, right? And so if by love you mean oxytocin bonds, then yeah, you want to have a solid connection with the other members of your tribe so that you can slaughter all the people in the neighboring tribe with a sense of that you're doing the right thing. Isn't that love? No, that's like lowercase love, isn't it? There's the 7 Greek words for love. Editor Edward, what are the 7 Greek words for love? So I know what you're expecting me to say. Because it was the 7 Greek words for love that we used to talk about 20 years ago. And I searched for that on our computers and on, and I couldn't find it. And so I asked Google and I was like, what? And then I found the one we were looking for. So I'm going to give you more than 7. Agape, A-G-A-P-E. Related to chesed. I mean, it's not related linguistically, but it's analogous to the Hebrew word chesed. Brotherly love, charity, the love of God for man and of man for God. Unconditional, sacrificial love. I'd leave off sacrificial love. It sounds too loaded. Like, oh, you mean the kind that Abraham had for Isaac? No. Probably the opposite of that. Anyway, philos, or philia, 2 forms of a similar. It's loved, beloved, dear, the love of friendship, affectionate love, or deep friendship. So like best friend kind of love. Eunoia. Did I mention I can't pronounce things? Out of kindness or goodwill, feelings of kindness or favors. Next is eros, love of a thing, desire for it, sexual love. So you can have eros for like your car or for, someone that you objectify and you want to do things with lower chakra kind of stuff. Heteros, H-E-T-A-I-R-O-S, comrade in arms, the love of brotherhood in a political or religious guild. All right. And then Aphrodisios, of or belonging to the goddess of love. I don't know if that should count, Edward, 20 years ago. We'll get to you later. Hesaumai, Hessaomai. To be less than another, inferior to give way, yield, to be a slave to passion and the like, to fall in love with, to be overcome by. So note that that's different than eros, but I think that sometimes they can coexist. And I would say both of those are fleeting, where something like philos or agape would be more permanent, and heteros probably lasts about as long as both people remain loyal to the cause. But anyway, so Google gave me eros, philia, agape, but then it gave me a different other 4. So we're going to get 11 today. Storge, S-T-O-R-G-E, family love, such as the love between parents and children, siblings, grandparents and grandchildren, uncles and nieces. When things are normal. Anyway, philautia, P-H-I-L-A-U-T-I-A, love of the self, associated with Aristotle's Nicomachean Ethics. There you go, P-H-I-L-A-U-T-I-A. Ludus, L-U-D-U-S, probably related to lewd, I would assume. Playful love, such as the flirtation between casual lovers. And finally, pragma. P-R-A-G-M-A, probably related to pragmatic. Long-standing love. A modern update on the ancient Greek loves. What? Thank you, Editor Edward. So yeah, agape maybe is an all caps love, and then eros is love backwards, and no. All right, where were we? Sorry, Editor Edward, I made you appear. Yes. What? If you absolutely... Yeah, okay. I reflect and try to figure out where I have made myself guilty of such intellectualism. I wouldn't know where. Quote, in your daily work, you always look for reasons why you give love and why you receive love. That must be avoided, end quote. Listen to your soul, Carl. Sometimes she's not psycho. Sometimes she has good advice. A lot, actually. But we know from book 1 that she gets weird later. Then he absorbs her into himself like the Absorbaloff and becomes the Mana persona. And then he has to get over that to become his true and authentic self. But we're moving very slowly through his process because it's fun. Who wants to skip to the end? Like, oh, this is a really good movie. Oh, really? How does it end? Come on, watch the movie. Read the black books. Enjoy yourself. Don't be so impatient. Give me the YouTube short version. Give me the TikTok version of Carl Jung. Sorry, where were we? I don't know. I like to go... Here on Chicken Philosophy, we go slower than the slow version. The slow version would be to read it. But instead of reading it, I'm saying this right now. Now I'm going to get back to reading it for a little while. What? Yeah, okay. That sounds strange. Shouldn't one render an account of it? Is this Carl Jung unironically playing the role of his dumb little I ego self? And then, oh, but the wise one within me says, no, it is wrong to make a receipt of love. Carl, you're so silly. I mean, I guess I do the same thing, don't I? I was doing it before I noticed Carl Jung doing it, years before. Let's play a clip of something from 8 years ago or more, where Fred or BT and Edward and Gwydion and Pymander are talking.
Who are you? Oh, well, I'm Edward. Well, I know you're Edward. Well, I know. We're having, we're kind of having this conversation for the sake of the others. Oh, right, of course. So, what do you think, BT? Oh, I think it was it was a sincere expression. It was it seemed to come from a place of, grooviness, and I'm all for that. Well, thank you. At least I have one vote. What about you, Pymander? Oh, the song, yeah, I thought it was groovy, but honestly, I'm just looking forward to when you guys are done with this recording so we can listen to some Daka Braka and get back to some cleaning.
Isn't that stupid? So anyway, yeah, I've been doing that for a long time, and chicken philosophy in present day is the current form of that. All right. Bracket parentheses, quote, and bracket parentheses, thank you, Sonu and the team. Sometimes Carl Jung forgets to put quotes, and they put them in for him. Under no circumstances you interrupt the process that is vital for you and others. Love is the most sensitive organ of perception. Only love lets you read your own soul and the souls of others. Nothing else will do. It is, cross out is, will be. It is, and it passes, hiding an infinite meaning in itself. End quote. When you say hiding in yourself, do you mean like when you're getting on a plane and you don't want them to know that you've got... Do you want to ban all my thoughts about it? Why then our reason? Quote, reason comes afterward. End quote. It comes afterward. Love comes first. Reason comes later with a vibrator after love is in the shower. Presumably. I assume that's what he means. Of course, to our detriment, one can hardly accept this proposition. Quote, it would be worth a try, end quote. It seems to me that I've already made enough experiments with positive and negative outcomes. I fail to understand what you are aiming at. Quote, me neither, but that needed to be said, end quote. I won't let you go. I need to know everything, quote, in order to abuse everything. End quote. How do you get that suspicion? Quote, well, in order to protect you. End quote. One can't go against rational findings, especially if one knows nothing better. Quote, that's a good reason, but not the point of what I mean. End quote. What else do you mean? There you go again, being difficult. Quote, you see, you know that style, don't you? Do you think others enjoy it when you speak that way? End quote. You're right. This is a point I must remember, but in this case, I don't understand anything. Quote, listen, once upon a time there was a gardener who sowed flower seeds, but the birds came and ate the seeds. So the gardener built snares and glue traps. When he came back the other day, what did he catch? A bullfinch. End quote. Do you mean me? Quote, who cross out something else. End quote. Who something crossed out else. I can only try to be patient with you. When you compare me to a bullfinch, I must assume that you have a reason, but the meaning is entirely obscure to me. Don't you want to explain it to me? Quote, thank you. You are learning courtesy. Obviously, you react in a better way to a somewhat stronger language. End quote. The bullfinch has been taken in, not because it has eaten from the seeds. Yeah, okay. but because it belongs to its essence to be taken in. That was in quotes? Let's try that again. Thank you. You are learning courtesy. Obviously, you react in a better way to a somewhat stronger language. The bullfinch has been taken in, not because it has eaten from the seeds, but because it belongs to its essence to be taken in. Yeah. End quote. Do you mean that I, or rather my love, has been taken in, or has to be taken in? Quote, both are the case. Libido, cross out libido. Love is always taken in. End quote. But that contradicts experience. I cannot accept this. Quote, you don't need to accept it unconditionally. Truths don't need to be accepted absolutely. End quote. You're telling me things that I got clear on a long time ago. I know that my love gets taken in, and at times I accompany it, well aware that I could also fall into the trap. And cross out and but I cannot and do not want to muzzle life. By the way, what is it with you, bracket parentheses, question mark, end bracket parentheses? You're beating around the bush. What do you want? Quote, I am your mirror. What goes around comes around. End quote. In that case, I am desperately alone. Even with you, my soul. I thought of togetherness with you, but it seems that I am alone with you. Quote, that is you. Do you see the value of love? Something crossed out. The glue of the trap seems more desirable to the bullfinch than being alone with himself. Learn the silly wisdom of that bird. End quote. You drive me to desperation. Don't I give enough love? Quote, no, you take too little. End quote. How can I? Quote, let yourself be loved. Don't think of giving it back. End quote. That seems immoral to me. Quote, don't forget that you do people a favor if you let them love you. End quote. But they want to be paid in kind. So the little birds that eat the seed really are, if you're paying them for love, then you should... Never mind. Quote, what? That is valid only for your love. Others still must learn how to love at all. Apprentices are not paid in full. End quote. That is a cruel teaching. Quote, it demands the sacrifice of your male prejudices. You need to intensify the longing in others. That way they become modest. End quote. Isn't that what I am doing sufficiently? Quote, not at all. You serve a lot. You ought to demand. End quote. But how should I behave in practical terms? Quote, be demanding and make yourself scarce. End quote. That means the greatest possible restraint possible on my part? Redundant, but yeah. Quote, the utmost, but allow the approach. End quote. That suits me badly, but I shall obey. And that concludes the 4th of the 7 books of Carl Jung's Black Books on Chicken Philosophy. Today is a milestone. So many milestones. Milestones galore, you might say. Like the James Bond companion. I haven't watched those old Sean Connery ones. She might be a villainous. Something galore. I don't remember. Anyway, so that was Carl Jung's Black Books entry for today. Something to think about. Things to make you go, So, once again, you'll see me again in a week or so. And in the meantime, do feel free to wait for the chicken cluck and then click the video called Autumn in Goa. I think you'll enjoy it. I'm gonna have breakfast now. Bye.